all this time that they have put in, all the hours that they have been grinding, all the practice that they have done, that it has amounted to some level of improvement, that you can at least show what you have been working on throughout the split, because it has not felt that way so far for DIG. And actually, I feel like it feels like there has been more of a regression from DIG throughout the year from lock-in to now. Because I think even at least in lock-in, there was a lot of hype around Photon and how he was playing individually. And it just feels like the team has not really been able to bring it together, except in some specific individual games. You know, it's interesting because when they played against the best couple teams, they have been able to get a game against each of our top 3 teams. And then they immediately turn back into a pumpkin and get blasted in the next game. So it's kind of funny because it's not even like these fluky games, it's dominant games. But it is going to be Lucian Milio. I feel like that is a bit of a shocker when Ashe Seraphine is up. When answers like Caitlyn are up and available, like they don't even have to go Ashe Seraphine. You could just go for like a bully CC lane, like Caitlyn Nico or yeah, something along those lines.
I mean, the first wave of bans, the Karma was off the table, so Karma Ezreal's gone. The Bard off the table, so like Bard Caitlyn, Nautilus, Avaris. But yeah, like this Ashe Seraphine's the big elephant in the room. I'm surprised that they avoided. So it's going to be Caitlyn for Sentinels and probably Anivia. Actually, that Anivia could really go in 3 different positions.
I think it's going to be
now.
support. I think that's actually what they're playing. I think they are going to do support Anivia with the Caitlyn. Of course, it is a flex, but it is a pretty strong 2v2 laner, and I think that is what they're going to be looking for.
Sets up the traps, you got a stun.
Yeah, exactly. The Lucian Milio blind is interesting to me. It feels like they were expecting the Ashe Seraphine as the response, and obviously Milio is great at dealing with the CC that comes out from that. You have the Breath of Life, and a lot of Milio players into those heavy CC comps are just rushing Mikhail's as well. So you can have an AD carry that has like Cleanse, a Mikhail's, and a Breath of Life available, and it's like, good luck CCing me, buddy. But it is, of course, going to be the Caitlyn instead, and you can struggle with range in these kind of matchups. So, of course, you know, we don't know for sure where the Anivia is going, but I do think it is going to be Anivia support.
And also on the kind of talk of how Dignitas have been getting some of their wins. Yes, Photon occasionally will have games like that Shen game last week, but also it's typically FBI and Ignar that are kind of getting them those wins when they do pick up the few game wins. And so I think, you know, blind picking for them, yes, it's something strong, but the double-edged sword there is that now you can get counterpicked and outranged.
I mean, I would also say that it feels like to me when, you know, when we are seeing these big performances from Ignar, people think more about his engaged champs, right? And it's kind of interesting because I interviewed him earlier in the season, and I was asking him about, you know, engaged champs, and he was saying, yeah, I'm more comfortable on them, and I think they're coming back into the meta, so like he thinks he was going to be playing them more. But since then, I feel like he's played only Enchanters, so...
I thought the story was going to go the opposite way. He's like, no, I'm getting comfortable on the Enchanters. I'm happy on the Enchanters.
I mean, I think he's happy playing whatever, but I do feel like he looks different when he's playing Alistar. And
team looks different.
Exactly.
Yeah. So catch up on the Banzo. Rumble, Cassiopeia taking off, Gwen and Akali. A lot of AP solo laners as... We haven't seen a confirmed solo laner locked in. Again, that Anivia very flexible on Sentinel's side.
Yep.
So Dignitas going to have to blind pick first.
Ryze, though, quite strong here in the meta, and should be going mid. Of course, we did see that one game from Castle playing it into the Rumble, kind of that ranged, you know, counter pick, quote unquote, even though it just ended up farming even, but are expecting that to be going mid. With Lux coming through now, we know it is going to be Anivia in his solo lane, so it is going to be Caitlyn Lux, so they kind of just maintained the ability to swap things up. And I am assuming that it is going to be Caitlyn Lux down in the bot lane. You don't really see Lux solo lane almost at all, unless someone really wants to cook. Of course, it is possible that they
maybe to
really
Ryze,
trick us out.
If you were going to play it, but probably not.
I feel like you just will end up under your tower the whole time with Ryze having the push, but it would be cool to see if they really want to mix it up. But pretty standard stuff, I feel like, from Sentinels. Really good zone control. You have obviously the Anivia wall, the Anivia ult. You have Caitlyn traps. You have, you know, Lux binding. You have so many tools to make entering into a fight very, very difficult. The Shen for Photon, I think Shen is a great pick into the Sion. I do like Shen into a lot of tank matchups. I think it is pretty advantageous. I will say there's not the best delivery system for the Shen. It's really just the Xin Zhao who can kind of run in with that Shen ult. Of course, later on, you know, you can have Ryze split pushing and the Shen kind of jumps in with his Stand United to try to assist. But I feel like Shen, as someone who plays it a lot, is most effective when you have really good hard engage and you are the one doing it proactively Shen ulting rather than reactively Shen ulting defensively, because a lot of times when you defensively ult, either your teammate dies before you arrive or the other team just backs off and you're 3-minute cooldown is just wasted.
Yeah, at the very least, you have the option for both if you have that primary engage tool. Xin Zhao, not exactly that, but he did have a fantastic Shen game last week. I want to remind everybody of that. He ended the game 6-6 and 8, but there was a time in the game where he was assassinating a J4 at the Baron
pit. He was up like 4K
He got a double
kill.
Yeah, he was like smashing that lane.
And then, unfortunately, the late game arrived, and Tank's damage stops kind of mattering.
Yeah,
and that is the problem.
The 2-item power spike, the Titanic Hydra plus the Dusk and Dawn, but then everything else is just tank items from then on out. So, but maybe he's able to pull off another carry performance in the early game and get Dignitas.
The funny thing about that game is, though, they were up like, he was up like 4 or 5K, and they lost that game.
They lost that game, yeah.
Yeah, so
100%.
you know, you can put yourself into a great spot.
But I gotta plant the seeds for the potential carry, you know?
He could get fed again and still lose.
I was wondering, what Anivia skin has the darkest wings? I think that one's up there. Very dark blue wings.
The darkest
for
wings.
dark wings. Yep, because he's got a wing champ.
That's fair.
It's got to be canonical there.
I would just think of Darkwing Duck.
What's Darkwing Duck?
It's like a comic thing.
Is this like a Not My Generation type of
might
moment?
be. I'm not sure.
I feel like that's what we're experiencing.
I'm not really
right
like a Darkwing Duck watcher or reader, but
No,
but I do think of it.
Okay.
Maybe it's from like
time to
Looney
time.
Tunes or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's some sort of comic.
All right, producers.
But
if
I don't
we
know
can
if
get
that's
some kind of
that's
Darkwing
where
Duck
he got it
graphic.
from or what.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Azael, you had posed a question. So why don't we talk about it here?
Okay, so the question is, what team am I? 6-0 in the LCS, 1.5, you know, just first in all stats, basically, right? Absolutely dominating. Well, the answer is every LCS team against Dignitas this split. So if you take the aggregate of stats against Dignitas, you are the best team in the LCS.
Yeah.
And Sentinels gets their turn to be the best team in the LCS.
Yeah, if at any given moment you needed fantasy points, I think a good strategy was draft whoever's playing against Dignitas, because you're going to be getting pretty high stats according to our records here. Let's see if Sentinels can keep that record going, but that's not the type of stats that you want to have as a team in a league, and unfortunately that is the reality that Dig has been facing this season so far.
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, they've been getting smacked, right? And Rahel here, obviously, you know, going to be able to stay safe. They do spot the Xin Zhao, and huhi will be able to stop eXyu's recall. And the question is, will he get punished for this at all? Because he went for a 3-camp gank bot. They have a ward on his blue buff that just expired on top side, and HamBak has just been clearing. So eXyu's going to go back to base. HamBak will be done 6 camps by the time eXyu is still on 3 probably here. And that is going to be a little bit tough. I am also just worried for Xin Zhao and Shen later on against all of the zone control that I was talking about, because if you taunt in and you just get walled away or bound or whatever, it's like you don't really have any recourse after that, right? Like, it is very difficult to play some of these binary melee champions into champions like Lux and Caitlyn and Anivia and Sion. Is really tough to get through onto that backline sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard to play the late game, and that early game felt to me like maybe part of the game plan, because hearing Dig, it sounded like they've had a tough time getting everybody on the same page, finding how they want to play the game. And when you look at the fact it was Lucian, Milio, first 2 picks, and then eXyu going for this 3-camp into an attempted early look bot side, maybe the game plan for them really is just play around FBI. It feels like that was the hint here we got in this early game, is just try and get FBI pressure, allow him to get that first pick, something that he's comfortable on to allow FBI Ignore to carry the game. As Photon goes in for a taunt there, and we'll just walk away.
Yep, and that is kind of the interaction that you are looking for. Impact has been winning this 1v1, but generally you can go with a Shadow Dash. You can cancel that charged up Q from the Sion, and then, of course, you have percentage HP damage with your Q, plus the extra attack speed. And when you get that pull through, it is quite powerful. But something that we have noticed is a change in Impact's champ pool these last week or two. Weeks 1 to 5, he'd been playing all kinds of stuff. He was also the most fearless in Split 1, but they weren't doing that well. And it was really kind of, there was a conspicuous absence of Ornn, of Cassante.
He's leaning forward.
He is.
And, as mid lane, DARKWINGS popped into the Anivia passive. He's fine.
But he had not played a single game of Cassante, Sion, or Ornn. All champions that are super related to him.
Now Palafox might not be okay. He used the Ghost and the Flash just to get the passive on DARKWINGS, and that's first blood picked up by HamBak.
Nice collapse there from huhi and HamBak. So last week he played the Cassante and the Ornn. Now he's playing the Sion. So that is now 3 straight games. As soon as playoff time comes around, either Impact's locking in or Coach is cracking the whip saying, you know what, buddy, you had your fun. It's time to win some video games.
No, my headcanon is that graphic. He just leaned forward in his chair and is now playing the tanks here.
One man can only play so many Sion games, so he has to save them for when it counts, you know?
Exactly, yeah. Have fun in the early season when playoffs don't matter, and then playoffs time.
You know what? Winning's fun, too.
See, that's where we differ. I don't do a lot of that in my game, so I try and have fun in other ways. Azael is huhi taking a big chunk down in the bot lane. The root lands, though. Trap as well from Rahel, but that will be heal from huhi. Now flash from Photon over the decimating smash. Body blocks the ultimate, and Impact might just be able to walk away regardless. Has his flash available as well, and will use it. So Photon will just trade summoner spells at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think Impact played that pretty well. I feel like he could have just walked it out, but he got nervous about when the taunt cooldown was going to come back up. I think he had gotten close enough to the tower that if Photon taunts him, Photon gets tower aggro and probably just dies. But, you know, nice aggressive move there from Photon. The reality is, though, Impact is still up, you know, over 10 CS. eXyu did get down to cover their bot lane again, because otherwise I think FBI would have had to probably use barrier. Maybe would have had a heal come out. I don't think it would have resulted in a kill, but pre-6, you know, it's very dangerous for this Lucian. If you get hit by a binding, the trap will be there to follow. Of course, post-6, Milio will be there to try to back you up. And FBI just looking for some trades here. huhi clearly wants to get back to base to reset, but had to stay around as he was getting a little bit nervous there for Rahel.
Yeah, huhi doesn't have a lot of mana, but will now get the reset off as the dragon was taken. HamBak didn't need his bot lane prio or his bot lane there to help him out. There was the 2v2 skirmish happening, so he's happy to just pick up the objective. This does buy some time for eXyu to get some camps, as he's now catching back up in the farm department, but if you're Sentinels, you're happy to pick up that early Ocean Drake in the laning phase, one of the most efficient dragons to have early.
Yeah, it's the best one for sure, I feel like. You know, when you get that early Ocean, especially in some of these kind of pokey matchups, it is very, very beneficial. And you are getting missing, 2% of your missing health every 5 seconds is what the regen is. So, like, when I'm playing Shen, you know, in a tank versus tank matchup, I feel like that is really annoying because that is such a high amount of regen for something like a Sion that's already really, really durable. But something I want to talk about is the reality is when you are at the end of a split that has been going this way for Dignitas, it is a real struggle. And you are playing for your jobs, right? You are trying to showcase your skill to show Dignitas, hey, I'm a player that you want to keep around, because the expectation is some changes will be made. So my question for chat is, who should Dignitas build around? What player should they be, you know, staking their kind of season on for next split? Who do you think is the most promising talent? Who do you think is their best carry that they should look to try to actually rebuild this roster around? Because clearly this iteration has just not worked. Yeah, either best or who you think has the brightest future potential to build around. I think either way you frame it, it's an interesting question to ask, because teams often find themselves in spots like this. You've had a very slow start to the year, and you have one more split ahead of you. So if changes happen, who do you want to keep on the roster? I mean, there's no guarantee that they will make changes, because you have to be able to find players that you think are going to be an upgrade. But let's be honest, no one is going to think, including at Dignitas, that you are qualifying for Worlds as the year is going, right? And that is every team's goal, is to get towards Worlds. That is the ultimate goal. And here is the chat vote. So heavily favoring FBI. I actually really agree with that. FBI would probably be my big one too. I feel like FBI still has shown that he can carry games, you know, has that ability to take over. And, you know, with a stronger supporting cast, this could be a much stronger team. I feel like he got over half the votes as well. I think that unanimously the community agrees with that, and I have to concur as well. When you look at the games that they win, everyone's stepping up, but FBI consistently, even in the games they're losing, has been the one that looks like he's staying in the game. Photon also, though, getting some nods. Happy about that. As well. Yeah, I mean, I think Photon, especially in lock-in, was a real carry threat. He has had some good games throughout the regular season, but I feel like has not been as dominant as what we saw from him in lock-in, where it was feeling like, oh man, this guy's laning phase is really scary. Ooh, nice finding there as FBI will be fine. Milio shields and heals are just too much right now for them to get through. And that was barrier out from FBI as well, so you know he does pop the barrier. Ignar was not yet 6, so Final Spark just kind of thrown out basically as a little bit of poke. The Lux Ult is such a short cooldown that you will see players usually just let it rip as soon as they do hit some sort of CC, just kind of using that for poke. And it's not going to be any sort of like full AP, you know, Luden solo queue style Lux. He has a Bandleglass Mirror, so he is going to be going supportive items here. We'll be interested to see what his support item upgrade is. Sometimes people will go for more aggressive support item upgrades.
I'm thinking like Shirelia's maybe? Do you want to get the move speed there?
Yeah, it could be Shirelia's. Shirelia's is pretty popular on a lot of these champions. You can do things like, I mean, there's a lot of options. We'll just have to see, but...
Either way, we know that it's not going to be that one-shot burst style of Lux. It's going to be the setup style of Lux. You get more shields, or at least stronger shields, and you also are able to land those light bindings to set up the traps for Caitlyn, and it's up to Rahel to do the chunk of the damage. That being said, huhi is actually more ahead in gold than Rahel currently, as FBI's just been doing a fine job of CSing here, but slower early game start. Sentinels now set up for the next dragon in a minute's time. They had gotten the grubs, or at least 2 of the grubs as well, while we were talking about the poll. So the early game objectives, plus that first blood gold for Sentinels, puts them in a good spot to just continue the dragon stacking.
Yep, looking like they're in a great spot for that. And I mean, especially if Sentinels gets there first, it's so impossible to walk in against this team comp. It is very, very difficult. And given that it is pro and it's not, you know, an AP-style build from huhi, I think we probably are just going to see Celestial opposition. You know, that is kind of the standard as Palafox.
Oh, that's the flash over the wall. Yeah, DARKWINGS really making Palafox work for it in this mid lane right now.
Man, HamBak's coming down here. huhi has delayed eXyu's base a bunch of times in a row. They were trying to keep them around and see if there's some sort of angle for a dive, but there's no way you can dive 3v3 with Shen ult available on the other side. Yeah, Shen ult would get interrupted by the Sion, presumably, but even just the shield, there's just no shot. They're way too healthy.
Yeah, and I understand the idea with HamBak having that power spikes under the sky, but wise to back off and instead just keep stacking these dragons. Even if eXyu's back completes, you know that you have a window here to actually punish Ignar. Pops a Breath of Life as flashes away. FBI Colleen will not get a lot of damage done onto HamBak, and Dignitas' bot lane will at least spot the Sentinels had a Death Brush, and it buys time for eXyu to get here.
Yep, buys time for eXyu to come back, and it does stop them from continuing on that dragon. So they kept eXyu around for a long time. They delayed his base, but not able to claim the dragon just yet. But you do get the flash as well as the Breath of Life off of Ignar, and that is pretty big. Photon going to be rushing in towards Titanic. Very, very standard stuff. It'll be interesting to see if he does go for Dusk and Dawn or just kind of tank after that. But Shen's wave clear is just pitiful, right?
Yeah.
So you need to go some sort of wave clear item, and almost always people do prefer the Titanic Hydra. Lets you get those waves moving in the right direction very quickly. And if you want to be a split push threat, then that's kind of what you need. And I love this, man. You use Ace in the Hole, Final Spark, all these tools. Just constantly delay it.
You got to back a little safer position there, buddy. huhi's just being a little mosquito right now. He's just stinging. He's not killing anybody, but he's being annoying as he's pushing back FBI. He stopped eXyu's backs earlier. Now HamBak is here. Now they might look for the dive. It is spotted, and eXyu's right over the wall at the red buff, so HamBak will just clear out this control ward, presumably back away as eXyu now shows up a level down, but got the backup. HamBak just throws out the smite, and we'll take the big Krug and walk away.
Yeah, DARKWINGS is coming down to cover as well. I actually like that they are not over-forcing on a dive and instead just keep delaying the base, delay the base, delay the base, take down the tower. Rahel, unfortunately, 1 CS off of the call proc, but they do already knock down the first tower here pre-13 minutes. That is a lot of gold for them. He's got to have Hex Optics. Yep, there's the Hex Optics on base.
There's the Shirelia's too, so first items for both AD carry and support as DARKWINGS now the focus in the mid lane, throws out the stun, flashes the wall, but a follow from eXyu. Not going to land the knock up, so DARKWINGS is fine.
Yeah, that's frustrating there for eXyu, but that is kind of what you're dealing with as Impact. Maybe going to find an angle.
Throws out the unstoppable onslaught. Flash from Photon as Rahel is here with the autos. Knock up lands. Photon trying to get back to safety. Walking into the Lux ultimate. Is able to dodge out that one. huhi, can he get the kill credit? Photon shadow dashes away. Light binding lands. Ace in the hole for the kill credit. Rahel picks it up.
Nice play there from Sentinels, and Photon just gets punished, going a little bit aggressive when the bot was rotating up towards that top side. Almost got out, but Photon does end up going down at the end of the day, and you get to give it to Rahel, who's now 1.5k ahead off of that early tower take, all the plates, plus the first tower gold. They're 4.5k ahead at 14 minutes. This is just not close at all.
Absolutely filthy start for Sentinel's bot lane, especially when you consider the fact that FBI and Ignar, they got first picks for themselves. They wanted this Lucian Milio.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true, but it's not just the bot lane. I mean, look at the gold. It's everything. Everyone is getting slammed.
Another calling used here from FBI, trying to take matters into his own hands with Ignar in his back pocket, pushes Rahel and huhi back, but just doesn't have the damage to get that kill. Also on that one item power spike. at least is able to win out somewhat in the 2v2 trades. So that's a sign of life for FBI, but everything's landing Sentinels' favor right now. 4.5K gold lead overall at 14 minutes. That's a pretty big lead for this time in the game.
I mean, that is a ridiculous lead. That is, I mean, if you're a Dignitas fan, you probably don't want to look at what the average win rates are from these kind of positions, because I would think it's into the 95s, maybe even higher than that. Like, it is rare that you lose these kind of games, and honestly, I think that their comp is better in the late game as well. So I am pretty concerned about this for Dignitas here. You know, there are going to be opportunities, but when you're already this far down, you've got to make a play, and that play has to go great, or you are cooked, because you only usually get 1 or 2 chances when you're already this far behind.
Rahel could be focused now in the mid lane. HamBak will spot out eXyu as Ignar will walk up to try and back up his jungler. There's the Shen ultimate coming in, and it's not going to land. HamBak just flashes the wall. That was Dig's look. Not finding anything for it. As Sentinels will just walk back up, keep hitting this turret.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about. When you don't have a really powerful hard engage tool to ult on, people just kind of run away, right? They see that coming through, and yeah, you got his flash. Like, that is still a trade up, but Stand United with no CDR is a 3-minute cooldown. Like, that is brutal, right? The next time you're going to be even looking for a play is around 20 minutes. And so that is really, really the difficult thing about Shen, and why, you know, I particularly prefer playing Shen with champions like Nocturne or Alistar or Nautilus, like someone who's going to be able to go in and make sure that they are still there as you are arriving.
Slow bleed here as Sentinels just creep further and further ahead. I actually would love if Stats could take a look at Rahel and how many turret plates he's got, because I must have been all 5 bot. I know he got at least 1 top and I think 3 mid. So Rahel might have just gotten 2 full turrets worth of plates, essentially.
He's rich, but remember, tickets are available for Spring Finals at ASU's Mullet Arena. It's going to be June 13th and 14th. 2-day passes and 1-day passes are both on sale now. Scan the QR code, get your tickets. We'll see you there, and who knows, maybe one of these teams will see you there too. Well, Dignitas might be in the crowd.
Yeah,
maybe you'll be sitting beside Dignitas.
Maybe, you could say hi.
And Sentinels might be playing. It's
maybe
possible.
They'll have mullets too. I still think that we should put a bounty on any player. And like by that I mean like a positive bounty. Like they earn the bounty if they
You'll
have
shoot
a
them dead if they don't have a mullet on site.
No. Well, I mean,
in-game.
maybe that's in-game.
Yeah.
That could be extra motivation. But no, any player that has a mullet gets to start with like 200 extra gold in-game or something like that, you know?
I think that's fair.
I feel like that should be allowed.
That's fair. Reasonable.
I like that. eXyu goes in with the audacious charge onto Rahel, just trapped up. Has the Crescent Guard available. He's holding it for a very long time, but now walled off. Cataclysm from HamBak. As eXyu still rooted in place, goes back onto Rahel and taken out of there. That's another kill to the AD carry as the kills continue. FBI hit by DARKWINGS and Impact, and Sentinels just pick up 2 in the mid lane.
You did say it was a slow bleed, but I feel like they're missing some limbs at this point now. They're bleeding uncontrollably.
It's but a flesh wound, Azael.
No.
No?
No, there's internal damage there as well.
Internal bruising.
Yeah.
A couple broken ribs
They don't
at this point.
They don't have long. No, it's worse than that.
They don't have long.
They don't have long.
Somebody check
it's
the
time
life
to say your
support
goodbyes,
system.
you know? Any final words, you know? You got to get them in.
Yeah, I feel like I'm usually a positive guy when it comes to in-game chances.
And I'm positive that Dignitas are losing this game.
You're positive of that.
Yes.
18 minutes and a 7.5K gold lead plus Dragon Soul point.
Yeah. And you saw how much fun eXyu was having with his champion against theirs in mid lane.
Yeah.
Where he for sure got to control his character.
He did.
He did.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say it this, because anytime there's a game like this, you now have little mini games. Because if we're being honest, Dignitas are out of this one. So can they prevent themselves from being perfect games? Because does the 1 grub count actually?
I think anything on the scoreboard counts. So for my definition, they already have prevented that. I think they'll get a kill. I mean, there's some squishy members on the other side. I feel like they'll just full send it randomly and huhi will die or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on your definition. It's pretty tough to perfect game if you do count getting 1 of the grubs.
Yeah.
And I tend to think that anything that shows on the scoreboard counts against the perfect game. So I would argue a plate does not make a game imperfect because that doesn't show on the scoreboard.
Also, our SAS guy Leo has confirmed that it does prevent the perfect game, and Leo is kind of the end-all be-all voice on the broadcast.
That's what he likes to think.
Oh, you're not convinced of that?
Nope. We could just say whatever we want, right?
I still feel like, personally,
we could ruin Leo's credibility very quickly.
Yeah?
Yeah, we
Do
could
you have
just
some
say,
insider information
getting
on
some
him?
stats here from Leo.
Oh,
and then
you're
you just
right.
say
We
whatever
could
you
lie.
want. Exactly.
Wait a minute. I never thought about
Yeah.
that. Wow.
He has no control over what we
Leo
say.
just said he hates bald guys.
We could attribute anything
crazy.
to Leo.
Yeah. Like
Leo is saying, statistically speaking, DARKWINGS better than Faker.
Yeah,
which I personally wouldn't agree with.
The stats on the
but
screen,
that was,
quoted by Leo the Stats Guy.
That was Leo
are
the Stats Guy
that.
making that argument.
I can say
it's a bold one to make.
It's our word against his.
Yeah.
Two versus one.
Two versus
right now.
one.
And I guess the.
Are you sure we should just fight through side, or do you guys just win on mid? Because I don't think we win on mid. Yeah, I know, but the thing is, it's like I think we're just attacking the wrong area.
Okay, let's go hunt Anivia then. Let's try.
Yeah,
Anivia. We're going bird
positive. Saying, you know, do you win mid? Well, not really. You guys can play on side. So like, all right, let's try to kill Anivia.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to try to stay focused in a game like this. You know, to have any chance of a comeback. They're not delusional. They know it is going to be incredibly unlikely, but it is a professional game. You got to do your best to win, and if that is that 1%er where you keep getting picks on the side over and over, then that's what you're going to go for. But unfortunately, if you do lose a 20-minute Baron to a team that is already 7.5K ahead and on soul points, it's going to be tough.
Also, rule number 1, if you're being hunted, pack together strong. DARKWINGS with a team as Caitlyn will get a big chunk of damage onto him, but the Cataclysm onto FBI. eXyu trying to keep him alive. Buy some space for the AD carry. As now the trap lands onto eXyu. The Crescent Guard has expired. Dignitas just don't have the ultimates to walk up. They almost got DARKWINGS into the passive, but not quite enough. They at least stopped the Baron.
Yeah, they do stop the Baron, which is good. But they spend their Stand United, the Crescent Guard, they spend a lot of tools there to
We're sending
do so.
Photon in there. Just solo mission. Oh, the light binding lands onto 2 as the flash taunt. eXyu at the flank onto huhi. Dignitas find a play and get their first kill of the game.
What did I tell you? Luck support is always good for one.
Always
for the
good
other
for
team.
one. Yep.
Yeah, at
There
least. You know, when you're getting owned, you love seeing like a Lux or a Zyra or something. You're like, I can kill that guy.
If we all flash on that one,
we can get that guy for sure. So they do get their one. So whether you're a Grub believer or not, you know, not a perfect game.
Not a perfect game.
There's a kill on the board.
Actually, Leo the Stats Guy said that one kill nullifies the one Grub. So we're back to perfect game.
But they have the Grub. Why would they be nullifying their own
man.
Grub?
Leo just says stuff.
Leo, what are you doing?
He's on one right now.
I can't believe that's our stats guy. That's crazy.
Yeah. With that in mind, everybody, there's actually a job opening. No, Leo, we love you. I'm sorry. I feel bad ragging on Leo. I still feel like he's by far the most valuable person that we can have, just for the amount of stats he gets us on a weekly basis. It's
I'd say, for me,
shout out Leo.
He's top 10 in my LCS stats people currently. It is a one-person team.
Currently.
It is a one-person team.
It's a one-person team.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's top 10. Maybe top 7 in Leo's that
Lonely
do
at
stats
the top,
that I
you know. Give him a couple friends up there. Yeah. 25 seconds till the next dragon. This is the Soul. So Sentinels have been playing a clean game so far, and now it looks like they're going to pick Palafox in the side lane. He flashes away, dodges the flag and drag, but the Cataclysm will land true, and that is a pick for Sentinels.
Oh, that's not fair. Palafox said he wanted to hunt the Anivia. The Anivia's not allowed to hunt him.
Yeah, when the hunter becomes the hunted. We got like a Predator situation going on here.
Okay.
I've never seen Predator, actually. I don't know if that is the plot.
The Predator only goes for, you know, honorable prey, right? They don't. Predator doesn't hunt weaklings.
So Palafox is honorable.
There you go.
That's what we learned.
Yeah.
I think that's a plot. Am I close? I don't know.
We'll count it.
I feel like I'm disappointing Captain Flowers right now because he's like the 80s movie guy, and every time I mention a movie I haven't seen, he gets really sad. So, sorry. Sorry, Clayton. Either way, Dragon Soul picked up for Sentinels as a 7,000 gold lead game just continues.
Not even going to contest it.
Nope.
All right. Yeah, we're definitely going next fast on this one. This is tough. I mean, they talked about it in the lounge, and honestly, a lot of the time, when you do get a team that has had a horrible season, they're eliminated from playoffs, they kind of play a lot more relaxed once they are already eliminated.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you do actually see upsets. You see them come out and finally they're not nervous. They're like, well, we got nothing to lose. And they go out there and they give it their all. This is kind of the opposite of that. this is like the most stomped they have gotten so far. We'll see if they can bounce back, but this one's tough. I mean, it feels like the only kind of very small little glimmers of light has been FBI getting some pressure here and there. But
eXyu walled off from the rest of the team, has to jump in with the Crescent Guard. He's solo versus 5 right now. Photon does come in with Stand United, but eXyu has to flash away from the Cataclysm, does survive for now, as Breath of Life will keep everybody topped off, healthy enough to continue the escape. And Dignitas do get out of there, but that's a lot of defensive tools used by Dignitas, so Sentinels can just walk straight to the Baron.
yeah, pretty much everyone popped all their ults there. DARKWINGS is going to be spotted on this ward, so they will be aware that this is happening. You got to go try to defend it. Maybe you get some random kills. If you take them out, if you steal the Baron, hey, yeah, at least you got a shot.
Yeah, Baron might be the true carry of Dignitas as it's shredding Sentinels right now, getting some extra damage in there as HamBak does secure the objective. Photon got in there, but HamBak is able to hold his ground, and Sentinels picks up the kill there.
Yeah, eXyu couldn't even get over.
Oh, flash to follow up onto eXyu as Rahel will go on a killing spree. Teleport into the mid lane as it looks like it's gonna be a slaughter. Double kill to Rahel. FBI flashes the flag and drag as huhi looks for the binding onto Ignar. And FBI just has no chance. Sentinels completely suffocated Dignitas in this game 1.
That is just domination here in the first game. 9-1, 10K up, 25 minutes in. You got Soul Baron, and you're going for the Nexus here. That is about as stomped as you can get.
On the bright side, Sentinels looking like the best team in the LCS right now, Azael. If we're just looking pure stats, as they'll take down these 2 Nexus turrets. Sentinels making very quick work of Dignitas in game number 1. They're hopeful for that top 4 playoff position as they will take game 1.
Well played there by Sentinels, looking locked in here. The Caitlyn Lux bot lane doing a lot of work. DARKWINGS was looking good. HamBak was everywhere. Impact's playing a tank. Sentinels are looking very, very comfortable against Dignitas, who is going to have to try to retool. Lounge, who's your player of the game?
Tough one.
It's a hard one, Azael, because like you were saying, that felt a bit like
A bit
a
of
funeral.
stomp.